And just like that, we're done.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it, and I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story.
So today we got neighbor Sean's truck over, and we are gonna replace these factory Toyota Predator style bars with a true Rockslider. Sean picked up the RCI Rocksliders. We're gonna see if we can get these things installed today. But first we gotta get rid of those other ones. So if you're not familiar, the factory steps are just held on to the rocker panel metal with some 12mm headed bolts. 2 at each bracket, so 6 per side. So we're gonna pull those out. We'll put the bolts back in the holes so you don't get salt and crap in there. And then we'll get to installing the new stuff. So just a few seconds later, with the help of a 3/8 cordless impact gun, got those bolts out and back in. Now we get to the fun stuff. Okay, so it looks like we're gonna start off by loosening the wiring harness, getting that out of the way. There's a bracket here for something, looks like wiring loom related. We're gonna get this bracket loosened up and just kind of pulled up out of the way. There are a couple of different plastic fasteners sticking through the frame, there and back there, which again are holding something. We need to remove those. And then this bolt for the drive shaft cross member, they give you a longer bolt for this location. So we're gonna remove this bolt, drop it down, we'll get the slider up into place, and then install the new bolt into that loosely as we line everything up. So on the inside of the frame, there is this plastic guard behind the brake lines that we need to remove so that we can get access up into inside the frame to get the fasteners and stuff in there. So just one thing at a time. So on this driver's side frame rail, there is a 12mm headed screw behind the brake line bracket that we removed, and then there's also a 12mm headed bolt on the brake line bracket itself, and that allows you to pull this out just a little bit, and then you could get that plastic cover out from behind there. So we'll pull that out, giving us clear access to get our fasteners up in there where we need to get them. So with these plastic fasteners, what I've always found the best is just some regular pliers. You can squeeze them and push them through. So yeah, I might not be able to do it one-handed though. I'm gonna have to set you guys down. Okay, and with the forking fork tool, we have pried the plastic clips out so we can push that harness up on top of the frame, getting it out of the way for the installation of our new sliders. Now we got to figure out the hardware stuff and start getting all the hardware poked through the frame where it needs to go. So the next hardware you install is one of the bolts with the split lock washer and a flat washer. That goes from the outside of the frame through the keyhole shaped slot, and then you got to reach up between the gas tank and the inside of the frame and install one of these giant plate washers and the nut on the back. So we've done that, and there you go. On to the next fastener. So in trying to line the slider up, I noticed that we had forgotten to knock 2 of the black plastic plugs out, which give you the bolt holes. You can kind of see them through the inside of the frame there. Now you can see the light coming through for the front of the slider. So Sean's had his frame coated and it kind of blended right in, and I totally missed them. So we'll make sure to not miss those on the other side, and that gives you access to get those forward bolts in. So on the slot that's right here forward of the gas tank, there are brake lines. So we're gonna pop the brake line out of the bracket and see if we can create some space for that nut and washer here. So they give you these lock-in blocks that go in the forward transmission cross member, And you can see that it came with like a little slag there from when they cut it off. So we just took an angle grinder and knocked that off. That way it'll fit in the frame real nice, lock into place like it should, keep us moving forward. So this is the opening for that block. You can see now that we have our block all ground nice and clean. I'm gonna fish that into there and it should kind of lock into place, pointing outwards, that we can put the next fasteners into it. Just like that. Now we get the bracket that's gonna go into place there, which we'll grab. So then this bracket goes up. You've got a bolt hole there that lines up with that block, and then 2 more holes there that line up with where we took the plastic plugs out. We'll get these into place, get things lined up, and we can hopefully start tightening some things up. Okay, so I had to get my arm really skinny to come in through next to the brake lines where we took that plastic cup out of the inside of the frame to get the big washers and the nuts inside those bolts. But we got the 2 most forward bolts in, that bracket with the block that we ground the extra little shrapnel off of. And now there are 2 holes that need to be drilled. So the other bottom frame bracket hole we need to drill up through, and then there's another hole in the side of the frame which just needs to be enlarged just slightly. There is brake lines behind that, so we need to be extremely careful when we're drilling to make sure that we don't go blasting through the hole with reckless abandon. And we'll make sure that we can get the last couple pieces of hardware installed under there, and then we can tighten everything up. And boom, Rocksliders. That looks good. Turned out really nice. So tightened all the fasteners up, made sure to reattach our brake lines, reinstall the pocket cover for the front frame section there. And now we're gonna install that tread plate for the top. So Sean's got the tread plate here, and those look like they just set on. And there's holes, they line right up, and we'll get that bolted down. 1 down, 1 to go. But that looks way better and is way stronger than these chintzy things that Toyota calls a step. So out of curiosity, we decided that we really want to weigh these things and see if we can tell what the difference is between the 2 steps. So 12.6 pounds, the factory step. It's like paperweight, almost like you could throw the thing, versus this beef. It's like a workout. You see Sean sweating just trying to pick it up. So let's just see. Almost 60 pounds, 59.6 pounds. Quite a difference. So yeah, we're adding a little, we're adding just shy of 100 pounds to the truck, just in the matter of a couple of steps. But totally gonna be worth it when it's done. So on the passenger side, first thing we did, of course, was take that step off. And now we're gonna remember to remove these 2 plastic plugs. So plastic plug here, plastic plug there. Funny enough, on the screen and the camera, it shows up way better than it does in real life, but gotta remove those 2 plastic plugs. This side has a box here, some sort of a wiring box that looks like we're gonna have to temporarily remove and then bolt back into place. And then the same bolt for the drive shaft cross member. So, but yeah, all in all, this side should be a lot easier. So let's get to it. So we figured out a way to cheat the system with the under the truck drill press using the jack. Way smarter plan. Go ahead, Sean. Perfect. Just like that. Okay. And lastly, as you're tightening up everything on the passenger side of the frame, they give you the 2 new longer bolts to put in the bracket that's covering that wiring harness. So we'll get those tightened up and we'll put the cover back over it to protect those plugs, and that'll be it. Life will be good. Oh, we got to put the step plate on this side yet. We're getting there. And just like that, we're done. What a huge improvement. They got just enough kick out. They don't stick out of the truck a mile, and they're rock solid. I just jumped up and down on it. Not a squeak, not a creak. Perfect.